Yo, this is a guide for Norwegian for Minecraft speedrunning. In my opinion, Norwegian's the best language. However, it is debatable. The three best languages are Ukrainian, Frankian, and Norwegian. This is what most people agree on. And this is just like a chart showing pretty much every single important craft for all the languages and which ones are good or not. And for the most part, Norwegian is pretty good. Obviously it is debatable. There are weak points in Norwegian, such as this ingot axe craft, which I'll talk more about later. But overall, I think the three languages are pretty tied, and it is just a lot of preference on what you prefer. So I'm going to run through what's good about Norwegian and why you should switch to it. Okay, first of all, this is the big one. LH for gold pickaxe, gold helmet. In my opinion, this is the juice craft. This is the holy grail of Norwegian. In my opinion, this is super good because TNT chalice, when you need a craft gold helmet, gold pick in the window, some people don't use this. I personally do, and that's why I think this is super good. But if you don't, then I can see why people will see Frankian or Ukrainian as better. But if you do use this, I think this is super juice. Crafting this in the TNT chalice window is just so easy with this craft, and it just saves so much time. Because other crafts, such as Frankian, the big advantage of Frankian is this craft, the ingot axe craft. But this doesn't have a time window. You can always just craft this whenever. It is a super clean craft, but with this, the pickaxe helmet, I think there are times where you just need to craft this super fast in the window of TNT chalice. Okay, second thing that Norwegian has is it pretty much just has everything. If you look at this image again, there's very little red. The gapple here is okay, this doesn't really count. These two don't really count. This one doesn't really count because it has these separately. But the only thing that's red for Norwegian is this ingot axe craft, which Norwegian has. It's just pretty bad. Here, okay, use RN for axe and ingot. It has junk, but it is still an option. And Gapple has a lot of junk. Okay, if you look at this, the reason Ukrainian's higher than Norwegian is all because of Gapple. You turn off Gapple, and then Norwegian should be on top. Yeah, 109. It gaps everything else. Gapple is the one thing that's bad about Norwegian. Other than that, Norwegian has everything. And even then, Norwegian has LEP for Gapple, which has no junk. And while 3 letters is bad, I think having 3 letters with no junk balances out. So while it is red, I think it is decent. Another thing, Ukrainian also has this, but having wool and bricks on a single letter is so juice in my opinion. Ukrainian has this in 2 letters, but having it on 1 letter is slightly better, but just this is such a good craft in my opinion. Wool and bricks on 1 letter is just super clean for blaze bed. You crank out your bricks, you crank out your wool, and then you just have a blaze bed. It's so good. Meanwhile, Frankian just doesn't even have it. If you want to do it in Frankian, you have to make bricks, you have to make wool separately. I think it's way worse. I think this is super clean for Norwegian. Another thing that's slightly better for Norwegian is the axe craft. While it shows here it's all the axes, the nice thing about Norwegian is it's only stone axe, iron axe. So when you use this craft, let's say you have sticks, you have no iron nuggets, you just have sticks and iron. You'll never, with a lot of other languages, you're gonna get a wood axe as well, and there's gonna be a bit of junk. But with this, you're almost always just gonna have iron axe only if you have no cobblestone, because it's only stone axe, iron axe, and that's super clean. Another nice thing about Norwegian is that it's just low key amount. Here, if you look at this, with Frankian, it's around the same. Both are on 14, but compared to something with Norwegian, this is a very slight thing, of course, key amount, 14 compared to 19. But I think it is better to just have fewer keys, because Norwegian just has way more overlap. If you look at my doc, with L has so much overlap, and then R also has a bunch of overlap, same with this O letter. There's just so much overlap, so it just makes the keyboard way cleaner in my opinion. If you have 19 letters, then it's way more messy, and it becomes slightly more annoying. And just having a super clean, it is a very slight thing, but in my opinion, having a cleaner keyboard is just nice. Another thing is that Norwegian is just easy to learn. If you look at some of the shit, I'll put some shit on screen, but it's compared to other languages, I think if you know English, then Norwegian is just super easy to remember some of the enchants, some of the subtitles. It's just super easy in my opinion. There's just a few annoying things, you have to remember difficulty, but other than that, it is really simple to learn. Unfortunately, Norwegian isn't perfect. Norwegian has a few flaws, primarily this. If you have polished blackstone, mainly from treasure, you'll just have a bunch of junk here, which makes this super bad. Obviously, you can just use essay as a backup, but it is kind of annoying because you have to change your explosives craft and you have to be aware of it, but it is just an extra thing to keep aware of. Obviously, you can still just force using li, but it is technically just worse. Another bad thing about Norwegian is this tool crap. Unfortunately, iron pick is just always annoying. Well, it's not that bad. You can kind of cope on the fact that most of the time, if you need to craft an iron pick alone, it's going to be from a bastion. And most of the time, you will get 6 iron, so you can overlap crafting iron pick with iron axe, which is pretty nice. But there are times where you can only craft iron pick, and this is just not ideal. Okay, this is my layout for Norwegian. In my opinion, this is pretty good, but it definitely isn't perfect. I wouldn't recommend just copying this because it definitely just is kind of bad. The reason, well, the main problem with it is because I have my chat key on W because of muscle memory from Vietnamese. But I think there are better keys to put your chat key. The problem with W is because while it is nice, you have pretty good proximity to your other keys. I use my middle finger, and that makes it hard to have like good lineups for some keys. Because ideally, what you want is just to have all of your keys for a craft in a row. So like, for example, if you want to craft something important, like bucket or something, like for most of these keys, I try to have them all in one row to make them just as easy as possible to craft. Because for example, bucket B and O, I just index middle finger and I just alternate chat key B and then O, and then it just makes it super easy. But ideally, you just have them in a row. So for example, BO, instead you just have them on W and then E, and then you just press them all at once. It makes it so much easier, and the best way to get like the most of those is just to have your chat key on somewhere where you put your thumb. So maybe like X, C, or V, I think is ideal for chat key. Also, the reason why I have T and 0 on the keyboard, these aren't keys, is to rebind T so I can refresh my pie chart. I have this set in AutoHotkey on like a script, so it rebinds T to 0, and you have to have it set up like this, otherwise it wouldn't work. Okay, to set up Norwegian, I'd recommend using this program, the Keyboard Layout Creator. You can use AutoHotkey, but the nice thing about this program is that once you download it and set it up, you don't have to change anything in Minecraft. It'll all automatically change. With AutoHotkey, you have to go in and manually change each letter, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just repress it. But with this, it'll automatically change. Obviously, there are some issues, like if you try to use AutoHotkey and this, there will be some conflict, but it is possible to navigate it. Okay, once you open the program, you want to set up your keys. Just like put in whatever you need. Make sure you have everything. And once it's prepared, you want to go to Project, Properties, fill in your properties, and then press OK. Oops. I already have it set up. And then build DLL and setup package. And you want to open the log, and then you'll have to run the setup.exe. Okay, once you've run the setup.exe and restarted your computer, then to turn on the language, then just go down here and then click it. And then everything should be fine. Like if you just test it out, it should output like whatever you have it set to.